it's really not about being able to follow this perfect plan, because as we know, life is not going to allow us to just have this perfect plan every single week. What's going to help us be more successful is actually how we navigate and address the hurdles and the setbacks that are going to pop up along the way. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Sweat Simple podcast. My name is Brooks Herbis, and I'm an online fitness, nutrition, and mindset coach who's here to help you simplify and make sense out of the all too confusing fitness and nutrition industry. Let's be real, there's a lot of conflicting information online, and it can be hard to know what's legit and who to trust. In every episode, I'll be sharing the science and psychology behind health, fitness, and long-lasting behavior change. But I'll also be sharing real-life practical application, because all of the best info in the world only matters if you can actually apply it to your real life. So grab a coffee, water, glass of wine, or lace up your walking shoes, and let's dive in. What is up, you guys? Welcome to the Sweat Simple podcast. And I would love to hear from you guys, because when I am listening to podcasts, I love listening to the host yap at the start of the episode and just chit chat about random things. But usually that's in podcasts that have two people and they're kind of like sharing their weekends or going back and forth. And when it's just me, I don't really have anything to yap about or share about. But if that's something that you guys want to hear more of, maybe you want to hear about the books I'm reading, the reality shows I'm watching. Just started watching the new season of Bachelor in Paradise. I'm a huge reality TV fan. But if that's something you guys want to hear, let me know. Otherwise, we will keep just diving straight into the content. And today we are talking all about how you handle hiccups. And this is something that's impacting your health and fitness journey in a sneaky way. And you probably don't even realize how much it's impacting your progress, but we really need to talk about how you're handling setbacks. Most of us don't even think about setbacks, because when we're planning for the week, when we're thinking about our fat loss goals in general and like all the things that we want to accomplish, we're typically always planning for best case scenario. We're really good at creating the perfect nutrition plan. We set up like best case scenario workout plan. We're hitting the gym 5-6 days a week. And we're going into this with this mindset of, okay, I just need to follow through with this. I've got my perfect nutrition plan. I've got my perfect workout plan. I just need to follow through, which is kind of funny, because when has that ever worked out in the past? Or like maybe you've had a few successful weeks where there's no interruptions and it's super easy to follow these things, especially in like our early 20s. But I feel like the older I get, the faster the years seem to go, the more responsibilities we all have, and the more it seems like we are just always waiting for life to slow down. We're just waiting for hurdles to not pop up. We're waiting for things to just feel easy again, like they did in our early 20s. And because of that, we need to do a better job of planning for these hiccups. Because when have we ever just done exactly the thing that we said we were going to do with no hiccups, no adversity, like no changes? After our early 20s, and probably not even then, like when has life ever gone perfectly to plan? And when we're thinking about success in our health and fitness journey and what's going to allow us to be successful, it's really not about being able to follow this perfect plan, because as we know, life is not going to allow us to just have this perfect plan every single week. What's going to help us be more successful is actually how we navigate and address the hurdles and the setbacks that are going to pop up along the way. Because as we all can expect and know, they will. These hurdles, these setbacks, these are going to happen. So when you're thinking about success on your health and fitness journey and what that looks like, it's not about finding the perfect plan. It's not about determining best case scenario. It's truly about how you view and how you navigate these hurdles and setbacks when they pop up. And I'd be curious to know. So there is something called self-efficacy, and it is truly your belief in your ability to succeed despite these hurdles. So it's a little bit different than like your overall confidence and how much you believe in yourself. It's really about how much you believe that you can face these obstacles, you can overcome these hurdles, and be successful anyways. So I want you to take a quick pulse check and see where yours is at. At a scale of 0 to 10, where do you think you fall in terms of self efficacy? 10 is like, I can overcome any hurdle. These things aren't even issues for me. And 0 is like, I am questioning if this is ever going to be possible for me because as soon as a hurdle pops up, I just kind of give up. So pulse check, pause, check in, 0 to 10. Where are you at? And what's really cool is that higher self efficacy has been shown to lead to more success in reaching your health and fitness goals. So if you're above like 7 and an 8, you're cruising, you're crushing, good job. But if it's below an 8 or 7, then the flip side is true, where it's going to be harder to reach your health and fitness goals. So we want to get that up. And what's even cooler is that we can get that up. Your self efficacy is not fixed. We do have the ability to increase it so that ultimately you can be more successful in reaching your health and fitness goals. And a lot of women, when they come to work with me, they have tried every diet under the sun and nothing has worked for them, which I'm sure some of you can relate to. So their self efficacy is pretty low. You might be sitting here feeling that exact same way. You're like, nothing has worked for me before. I work so hard. I bust my butt to hit my calories to get to the gym, and the scale just won't move. And I'm starting to question if this is even possible for me. Like, can I even do this? I trip up every single time something happens. I just can't seem to have a single successful week. I can't seem to follow through. Is this even possible for me? During our time together, because of the work that I do with my clients, we are almost always able to get their self efficacy up. But in order to start improving your self efficacy, I want you to think about how you're handling setbacks right now. If something doesn't go as planned, how are you approaching that? So let's say you get home from work late and you ran out of time to make dinner, or you realize that you don't have an ingredient for the recipe you want to make. So you plan this like really amazing, high protein, high fiber dinner. You were super excited about it on Sunday, and you go to make it on Wednesday, and you're like, shoot, I forgot to thaw the chicken. I don't have the chicken that I need to make for this. What do you do next? Because what happens next determines how successful you'll be on this journey. You already did the step that you normally do, which is plan the really healthy, high fiber, high protein meal. That's not important on your success. What's important is how you're following through and what you do in this moment when there's a hiccup. If you're someone who's like well, everything's ruined kind of mindset, and you're like, well, I'm just gonna like get takeout, or I messed everything up, or I guess I just like won't have protein tonight. Yeah, of course, consistency is going to be hard, because the second that something isn't going as planned, you're throwing everything out the window. You're falling deep into that all or nothing mindset. If it's not an all, if it's not a perfect plan, you're falling into that nothing. And how can you expect to be consistent if you're falling into nothing every single time one of these hurdles pops up? Because, like we talked about at the start of this episode, these hurdles are part of being an adult. These hurdles are part of life. So we can't fall into nothing every single time these things pop up. On the flip side, if your mindset goes into, okay, how can I still be successful in this moment? What could I do so that this doesn't turn into a hurdle? Suddenly, consistency feels a lot easier, because maybe you're not being perfect. So, maybe you're not having the chicken with this dinner, but maybe you realize, okay, well, I don't have chicken, but you know what? I do have some random like frozen burger patties. So I could cook those up and add those to the meal, or like some frozen meatballs that cook up in 3 minutes, and I could still have some protein with my meal. Okay, great. That is so much better than going towards takeout or just saying you're not going to have protein with dinner. Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe you have to, quickly adjust your calories. Maybe you even end up being a little over your calories or something, but it's still better than doing nothing. So if we can start to shift that mindset from every setback is I got to start over, every setback is a nothing moment, and we can start to find some nuance, and you can start to challenge yourself to still be successful in those moments, suddenly you're a lot more consistent, and consistency starts to feel a lot easier. So, how can you start to cultivate that mindset, that belief that you can overcome these things, that these things don't have to be hurdles? Because that's where the true magic happens. So, my challenge to you this week, I want you to think about how you can approach these setbacks differently. How could you start to see them as more of an opportunity and less of a roadblock? And then let's take it one step further and say, how do you want to practice that this week? What are some common hurdles that typically are throwing you off course? And how can you practice handling them differently this week? Shoot me a DM. Let me know. Like, I actually want to hear from you guys to help you hold you accountable. What typically comes up as a roadblock for you each week or is really common? And how can you approach them differently this week? And if you're struggling with that, if you're like, I don't know. I don't know what that next step is. I'm not sure how I would approach this differently. That's what one-on-one coaching is for. That is my bread and butter. I help women get out of this all or nothing thinking pattern all day long. It is my jam. So I'd love to work with you. You can apply in the show notes. But really, you guys, this is like the key to your success. It is not about perfect plans. It is not about, the best protocol. It is not about any sort of fad diet out there. It is about how are you approaching setbacks when they happen? How are you either meeting them as opportunities to grow or completely giving in and letting everything you've been working so hard for fall to the wayside? So really, really think about where you're falling on that spectrum right now, whether it's I believe that I can still be successful despite these hurdles, or if you're looking at setbacks as like, this is the end of my life. And we need to change that mindset if it's the case, because I want all of you guys to start to be able to navigate these setbacks with more success, because I know that this is so possible for you. And I know that you can overcome this mindset too. So that is all I've got for you guys this week. If you have questions, comments, shoot me a DM. I want to know. And just a reminder, I always pick one person who shares this in their Instagram stories and tags me or leaves a review to win a personalized fat loss blueprint from me every single month. So all you have to do is one of those two things. You'll be entered to win. You'll get a personalized nutrition and strength training program from me, plus full access to me over email as you implement these things. So I am so excited to hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts on this episode, and I'll chat with you all next week.